What's up, everybody? Kinetic here, and welcome to Guild Wars 2 Dungeon Time. This is the Citadel of the Flame. This is actually my first full dungeon run in original Guild Wars 2 content. You saw us do the Fractals of the Mist. Well, me and a bunch of pugs. But this was actually my first time in the original content, before the Lost Shores and the Fractals came out. And I had a great time with this, especially because this is with the guild that I made from you guys, my friends on YouTube, the Kitten Commandos.
Good to see another honest face. Do you need assistance?
What's going on?
This human thinks he can take on Gaheran Balefire.
No, this Char thinks he can fight the Flame Legion by himself.
Fighting with you is the same as fighting solo.
And what is that supposed to mean?
Enough. Both of you, gather your troops. We need everyone for this.
Glad you boys could get things.
Yeah, so as you can tell, this is the story mode for Citadel of Flame. And it has a lot to do with Logan and Ritlock's relationship. If you know anything about Guild Wars 2, if you've been playing it, and probably if you've been about halfway through the story missions, then you kind of understand, maybe understand completely what exactly is going on between these two guys. Well, there's a lot to do with them here in Citadel of Flame. Like pretty much all classic dungeon encounters, you're going to have to fight through the mini-mobs. The trash, you know what I'm saying? Gotta keep an eye out for that condition damage. That's a big part of what you're going to be facing in Citadel of the Flame is burning condition damage. If you're not used to keeping an eye out for burnings and poisons and bleeding and stuff like that, this dungeon will do a good job of teaching you that. As it is, I'm not a big fan of being able to keep an eye on condition damage in this game
Take down the Flame Legion!
because there's not much to see.
What's that up ahead?
There he is. There's the big boss.
And destroy you all! That lunatic wants to turn himself into a god.
Get the men to safety. I'll go forward.
I'll go. You're not needed here.
You think you can handle this alone? You're the lunatic here.
Stop arguing. We need both of you to breach the inner sanctum. There must be a way in.
The Flame Legion controls its gates with mystic braziers.
They should be nearby. Let's move.
So like Ritlock said, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make your way to the two braziers. There's an eastern and a western brazier that you will have to find and destroy. And it's going to be a little bit tricky because now you've got these fireballs falling out of the sky thanks to balefire as you fight through mobs and make your way to the mini-bosses that protect the braziers. And like I said, a big part of the damage that you're going to have to keep an eye out for is the burning damage. You will see it down nearby the red circle, which of course is your health gauge. You will see like a red icon pop up if you're suffering from burning or bleeding or similar condition damage. And dodge rolling. Dodge rolling is also something that if you haven't mastered by now, is going to be good practice here in Citadel of Flame. Something I noticed about fighting the various mobs here in the Citadel is the shamans, the one that I'm targeting right now, the one that's throwing around a lot of fireballs. I think in my opinion, is probably the most dangerous mob. Seems to do the most damage, does a lot of the condition damage that you will face, and generally are the most annoying in the Citadel. So if I would recommend a kill priority, I would put them at the top. If you see a shaman, hit Control T, target him, and focus your efforts on bringing him down first. The second would be the Igniter. Again, does condition damage and can be kind of a pain in the ass. The rest of them are not so bad. This is the first of the two bosses that are protecting the brazier. And with this guy, he's pretty simple. All he does is he pretty much stands in place. His minions do the fighting for him, and then he just kind of supplies you with these burning lines that if you run over them will cause you condition damage. He's not the only one that can do that. Look at that. I can do that too. Some people were asking me about my staff build. I've included that in the description. It's really nothing fancy. It's actually what I consider to be pretty normal, I guess, for a fire elementalist like myself. And I alternate between fire and water probably the most. I use lightning for a little bit of control effects and for speed boost, and I'm still not really interested in using the earth element. But yeah, this guy's really simple. Once you take down his minions, he's pretty much just going to stand there and try to throw burning lines of damage around. Just dodge out of the way, and you'll be good. And one last note on this guy, this mini-boss, is I recommend pulling him out of this room. This is actually where he started from, was inside of here, and then we pulled him out to where you saw him just a moment ago. That's what I really recommend. Get him out into a more comfortable area for you and your party to fight. And once he goes down, then you've got the Eastern Flame Brazier that you need to break down, and then once that's broken down, that's one of the two braziers, and then you can proceed through the dungeon.
Destroying the brazier weakened the gate.
But it didn't destroy the gate. We have to find the other brazier and demolish that one too.
And this is something that I thought was funny. Logan is constantly like, watch out for the fireballs! And then all of a sudden, he's just standing, boom! I almost fell out of my chair watching him and Ritlock take a flaming fireball to the face. Gotta watch out for those fireballs, right, Logan? Alright, so here is the Western Flame Brazier and the boss that is guarding him. Now, this guy is much more challenging than the first. Again, he's going to be sitting here inside of his own little personal room. Go ahead and pull him out of there. Especially for this guy, because he is wild. He is not going to just stand there and throw AoE damage at you. He's going to be coming at you in full force with his greatsword. And on top of that, over the course of the fight, he also changes weapons. And he has these kind of mystic weapons. You can see right there, I'm targeting one of them. These floating weapons that also float around, really, and will do damage to you. Control effects, besides these chains provided by the Guardian, don't seem to work. That was the only control effect that I noticed was effective at all. I tried to freeze him to the ground using my spells, and it did absolutely nothing. You gotta be careful about picking up your homies, because look at that. I almost got one shot by him and his spinning greatsword. Condition damage in this case is going to be your friend, and I think is really a big part of what makes a good player kill faster in Guild Wars 2. It seems like the best PvP players are the ones that are doing ridiculous amounts of condition damage against you, and the PvE damage that I think is most effective, again, is condition damage. So this means bleeds, burnings, poisons, things like that, because you won't be able to sit around, as you can see, and just throw or hit him. He's going to be moving around, he's going to be attacking you, you're going to have to dodge, you're going to have to heal, you're going to have to pick up your friends probably, or do something. And condition damage can be doing all that work for you while you're doing all these other things. As you can see, now he's changed into a kind of thief fighter, disappearing and then reappearing, dealing slashing damage. That condition damage, I really think, is going to be a big part of what brings down these bosses. Once he's down, you'll be able to find the Western Brazier inside. But now the dungeon quest has updated. Fight through Garon's minions, including the effigies. I like fighting these effigies because it reminds me a lot of playing Guild Wars 1. There were 2 of them that were down the ramp just from that previous boss's area, and be careful about pulling the aggro from these guys onto yourself, because they can deal a lot of damage. There were 2 of them that we were initially fighting at the same time, and if they're both focusing on you, it can be pretty rough. There was actually a 3rd in this area. It didn't seem to activate, and I don't know why.
Puny mortals, you will never ascend to face me. Kala gouges eyes. He slaughters his own troops to get to us.
That means he's still vulnerable. He's afraid of us.
Because he knows he's about to die. And he's right. Pick a limb and start chopping.
Need to find another way over.
Pretty awesome stuff going on here in story mode. I like that here in the Citadel, it's sort of helping to heal the relationship between Ritlock and Logan. A note about these bridges after that cinematic: get off of the bridges. As you see, these shamans are going to be throwing around AoE damage, exploding fireballs, and they're going to knock you around. And I think even one of our members, was it Jurg? I'm not sure. The littlest sir, I think he or somebody else got knocked off the bridge. So when you see these guys, just run straight to them. Get off of the bridge, or kite them to the other side of the bridge. Either way, get off the bridge. Next up, and last I should say, of the mini-bosses is the Hierophant. Really easy though. He's just going to stand there and he's going to throw out some damage at you. And he's going to summon these fire imps. And what they will do is they will fly out to different parts of this area, and you will see a red circle appear on the ground, and that means they're about to do some damage. And then boom, as you can see right there, they explode and do fire damage. There's a pro tip for any of you that are not aware by now. If you see red circles on the ground, get the hell out of the way. Very easy boss though, pretty much tank and spank, even though there really are no tanks in Guild Wars 2. Once you bring down that mini boss, you're going to make your way up here to a real boss. The Flame Legion Effigy. This guy, I'm not gonna lie. This guy, we wiped to him a couple of times. He's a pain in the ass. he takes that condition damage to the max, it seemed like. He's going to move around a lot in this area, and there's going to be a big red circle around him. And if you're within that circle, after a certain period of time, only like a second or two, then you're going to catch fire. I guess that's because of how hot he is. You're actually going to catch fire. But the real trick to this boss fight is not the flame effigy himself, but those flame acolytes. As you can see, the little crosshairs that we're using to highlight the acolytes, there's about 6 of them, 3 on each side, inside of these protection bubbles. And at certain parts of the fight against the flame effigy, you will have a chance, it's a very small window, when those barriers will go down, and then you will need to put all of your effort into killing those acolytes as quickly as you possibly can, because they're actually the ones that are powering the effigy and keeping him alive. You can do all the damage that you want to, kind of like we did. We just kind of ignored the acolytes, but then he's just going to heal up all the way back to full because the acolytes are alive. And that's what actually took us so long, I don't know why, to figure out and to coordinate. Was that when Ritlock calls it out, you'll see it in the chat at the very least. If you can't hear Ritlock say it, he will say that the acolytes are vulnerable, go ahead and attack him. Everybody at that time needs to completely ignore the flame effigy and put all their effort into fighting the acolytes. After that, it's a really easy fight. Long, but easy. There you can see there's that big red circle creeping around every time he starts moving around. And you can see down there by my health bar, there's a little flame damage that's ticking now against my health. That's the kind of stuff that you got to keep an eye out for. And he's also going to throw a kind of meteor shower, like a miniature meteor shower at you. This spot here on the bridge just before the room actually seemed like a safe spot to fight him from. But the problem is that if you're over here, then you really have no reach whatsoever to get to the flame acolytes when they become exposed. And that's a really important part of this fight, is staying near them and grabbing that chance when they become vulnerable. There you can see the acolytes are exposed, and we're trying to kill them as quickly as we can. Down goes the first group, and there's two left, and then the barrier went back up. So we have to wait. The barrier does go back down, and we did kill the acolytes, and now we can focus all of our damage onto the flame effigy. And this is going to be kind of a lengthy fight. I'm not going to lie. It was so long actually that my hard drive completely filled up of recordings from Fraps, and it auto-stopped, but of course we did finish this fight. And now, after that, balefire.
Holy shit.
You cannot stop me from becoming a god. The Char have no gods. I will burn you to ash.
This is it. Big boss time. Now, despite how this looks, this is actually not that bad of a fight. What we've got going on here is Logan is protecting the group with this barrier here, this bubble, from the rolling fireballs. And what you will see is when they break on his protective barrier, there are items called Molten Heart on the ground. These are the key to winning the fight. What you're going to do is you're going to grab one of those, as you can see Jörg doing right now. You're going to dodge around these bowling balls, basically, And then when you get up there to the top of the ramp, you can press the 1 key while holding the molten heart and toss it at Balefire, and that's the only way that you can damage him. There's, I don't think there's any way that you can actually target him, except for using the molten hearts. So now it's my turn. I'm running up there. Press 1 and you can see the green AoE, unless of course you've got quick cast on, and then you toss it at him. And you can see the progression from every time that we hit him up in the top right. Every time I throw one of those molten hearts, bam, there you can see a tick of damage. And then at this point in the fight, he's gonna kind of make things more difficult by summoning these rock walls to try and trap you. And he's also going to be rolling out these flaming boulders at your group still. But those do help in a way because they help to break the walls that are trapping you. So all you gotta do is just wait, and then he's gonna summon some more boulders and they will roll out and destroy the wall. Of course, it's not so great if you're caught in between walls and can't get away. You can actually break those walls though. If you have the power, if you have good damage or maybe AoE or something like that, you can set out, like for example, a meteor shower if you elementalist, and you can break down those walls. I'd say the best way to prepare yourself to run out there and throw a molten heart at Balefire is wait until you have full endurance, so that way you can actually do some dodging. Then run over, grab one of the boulders, or excuse me, one of the molten hearts, and throw it at him. Bam! And that's it. It's really actually quite simple. You just gotta watch out for those rolling boulders and keep you and your teammates alive.
You fought well.
As did you.
A long time ago, I made a mistake. I left when I should have stayed. And I spent the past 5 years trying to justify it. I still feel like I did the right thing, but I'm sorry I left.
For all those years, I was so angry I wouldn't listen. I understand why you did it. I'm also sorry that you did.
Are we good then?
No. But we're better. A couple of ales might help.
You got a deal.
Another personal victory.
And that's it. That is Citadel of Flame and the final boss, Garon Balefire. You're going to get a pretty good chunk of karma and experience from this. I'm already 80, so it's not like I'm really needing it, but yeah, you'll get that. There's also chests that spawn after pretty much every little boss. And being, I guess, because it's story mode, you're not really going to get fantastic prizes from this, but the experience, I think, is really, really good. Like I said, you'll be professional at dodge rolling, I think, after this. And you'll be keeping an eye on your condition damage against you a little bit closer after an experience like this one. That's all I got for you guys in this video. I hope you enjoy it. This is Guild Wars 2 Citadel of Flame and the Kitten Commandos, my guild that I made of my friends with you here on YouTube. If you're interested in joining us on Isle of Janthier, that's the server we're on, all you gotta do is send me a message here on YouTube or on Facebook or even in game. Just type out Kinetic and send me a shout. Hope to see you in game. See you next time.